Hi, my name is Stephen Grove. I'm a volunteer for Umpqua Valley Youth for Christ. This is a 9-part video series from The Right Call, the network of Christian coaches. In this interview, you will hear from Coach Dane Tornell. He has spent over 30 years shaping athletes through his Christian faith. In this series, he talks about how he handles pushback when sharing that faith. You will also hear about a conversation with a former athlete who revealed a wound Dane never knew he had caused over a decade earlier. Have you ever had a former player come back years later and say your coaching impacted their life or their faith?
Yeah, a lot. And again, going back to the question of like what's the why keep coaching so many years? That's it right there. That's what keeps me wanting to get up and pursue kids, continue to coach as much as I can, or at least be involved in athletics, is because you know the impact, not because you just see it, but because the kids tell you. In my opinion, might not be a popular one, but in my opinion, there's nothing that reveals character in the entire world like athletics. You can't lie your way through being an athlete. You are completely exposed to who you really are when you're an athlete, to your teammates and to your coaches. I laugh every year in my banquet when I proclaim, one, I spend more time with your son or daughter for 4 months than you do. I see your son or daughter at their worst. I say that almost every banquet every year. And the cool part is I get to say I love them anyway, because it is truth, can't hide. And so when you have that kind of relationship with kids, and they come to you and they say, "Thank you first for the spiritual investment that you've put in my life, the discipleship time, the time in the Word, the understanding of the Scriptures." The van rides, the state playoff games, are the most important memory that I'll ever carry. And you just they don't even care about the wins and losses.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't know the score. Did we win that game? I don't remember. That advanced us? Oh yeah. Yeah, but that van ride, remember when we were talking about being a mom and how important that is? Man, that just totally changed the way I thought about life. And you just go, that right there that's the reward. That's special. I don't know if does that answer the question rightly?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that makes me want to continue to press on. But there's lots of other ways. But I think what's special about athletics and being a coach is, like I said, athletics exposes you to who you really, really are. I think humans especially are really good at faking it. We can get together for an hour at a coffee shop and have a relational conversation with each other, but doesn't reveal who you really are until you go start getting dirty and getting sweaty, and you're hurting, and your face is bleeding, and you're smashing into people, and you don't feel good, and you're tired, and you're with people for so many hours a day that it seems like you have the permission to say anything that comes to your mind. It's like, oh yeah, heart condition is revealed.
Sure, we've heard some things in practices.
Yeah.
What did that come from?
Yeah, we're like, are you okay right now? So that's the part that nobody sees, right? Everybody sees game day. Yeah. Everybody sees the X's and O's put on display, but nobody gets to see that kind of change in the life of a young person. So
that's awesome. So looking back, what's the biggest way your faith has changed the culture of your teams?
Well, I think in all ways of life, I think the longer you're a believer, the more you realize how sinful you are, and where and how temptation arises, how to deal with your own spiritual condition, and so being able to pass that on to your kids is pretty cool, and having the avenue as a coach, right, to be able to know, hey, I got a new group of kids this year. Here's something I learned. I'm going to figure out a way to weave this into practice, or after practice, or the van ride, or the on the bus, or whatever it is, right? So coaching gives you the avenue of real discipleship. I think that's just a maturity thing. Also, I think that coaching has shaped my personal walk, because like an athlete, I'm tired. I'm beat up. I'm like, you'd think if you're a basketball coach, you'd be in really good shape, or a track coach, you'd be in really good shape. No, I get in horrible shape every basketball season. If I don't dress down and work out with the kids every single day, like I just turn into a tubby by the end of the year, man. It's like basketball season's over. I got to go get back in shape again, right? So I'm feeling beat up. I'm broken. I'm feeling down. And so I think that's the maturity of saying when I walk onto the court and it's end of February, that I make the conscious choice to say, I'm going to go and I'm going to bless these kids in Jesus' name. I'm going to press on. And despite how I feel and my emotional set right now, I'm going to walk onto this court and I'm going to give these kids my absolute best in the power and the authority of Jesus' name, not Dane Tornell, not, you know. And so that grows you as a believer, just like lifting weights. That makes me tougher, physically, spiritually, emotionally tougher. Being a coach, I got to show up every day, and that you get to do that in people's lives every day too. Isn't it funny in the life where you're laying in bed, you're exhausted, and the phone rings and somebody needs help? Isn't that how it always is? It's not like when you got your work clothes on and you've been getting dirty, and then somebody calls and being like, "Hey man, I need a tow right now."
I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'll be right there. It's like, no, it's when you're comfortable. Yeah. It's when that's how God works. Are you really ready to go serve these people? That's what coaching does. It's like you have to make that choice when you pull in the parking lot at the gym. Am I ready to go serve these kids? It's like, oh, I'm tired. Yeah, come on, bring it. Lord, bring it. Give me what I need to do to bless these kids today.
I guess I want to add this question to kind of piggyback off of your answer. Since you've been a coach, you've coached many years. How did that look at the beginning of your coaching career towards as you progress through? Obviously, each year you get new experiences, and as coaches, we learn things and grow. Mm-hmm. So how was that for your personal maturity in faith, and saying, hey, I'm going to start making my faith, the way I act and interact around my team,
great question,
in a godly manner, because, from my own experience as a coach, like, you can kind of get lost.
For sure.
At the beginning of the season, you're like, hoorah, I got all these things, we're going to do all these things, I'm going to set these standards.
Yep.
Middle of the season, now you're grinding. For basketball, it's a long season.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year, you're just trying to get through it.
Yeah.
But like sometimes, in my own experience, it's hard to keep that reminder. And I'm new into coaching, so I haven't coached as long as you. But how did you grow in that?
Yeah, that's great. When I first started, I think I was pretty idealistic. I feel like I went into it and said, hey, I'm gonna go be Jesus for these kids. But in the reality, it was X's and O's, wins and losses, watching film, doing all of the awesome coachy things, Right. I think I was probably about year 8 or 9. I think it was probably 2004, 2005. Took my team to a camp up at OSU, and Scott Ruick, the women's basketball coach at OSU, been there forever, The kids were off doing their training, and he was going to do a coach's seminar. And he's a believer, loves Jesus. He's outspoken about his faith. We sit down. We got a room packed full of coaches. There's 1,000 kids at this camp. We got all these coaches in there. And he said, first thing he says is, coaches, don't waste your time. And I'm like, and? You're like, da-da-da. And he says, it's not about the X's and O's, watching the film, wins and losses. He says, it's about the hearts of your kids. And I was like, dang. At the time, one of the winningest teams in the nation, like, serious threat. And he's like, you have to know your kids that you're working with. I just kind of sat back in my seat for a second. I'm like, this isn't even about basketball. So I walked up to him afterwards. I was like, dude, great talk. Dude, I'm a Christian. He's like, brother. And he gives me a hug, and the whole thing. And I said, I said, when you were talking about not wasting your time and having to know your kids, you're actually talking about spiritual level, aren't you? And he goes, yep, it's got to be your priority. He says, not only does it have to be your priority, but your kids need to know that it's your priority. I was like, I don't know that my kids know. I think my kids hear and experience things that I bring on the day to day, but I don't think they actually know that it's my number one reason that I'm in the room with them, that I'm in the gym, that I'm working out with them. It is because of Christ and Christ alone that I'm there. And we're gonna work on some basketball. And it really did, to answer your question, it really did change the way that I approach my kids every day. Like, take every opportunity to proclaim Christ. Now, that being said, I mean, I know we're in an interview here. That being said, I've got in trouble at schools for being Jesus, the kids, talking about Jesus. I've been called into the athletic director's office. Hey, you gotta stop doing that. Nope, not gonna do that. It's gonna be my number one. So.